Hey, happy Friday, this is Lab Rat Sherry. Let's see what's going on in the ER of the PITT this week. We've had a happy week that there was no laboratory mistakes, which actually shocked me, but it's probably also because they didn't put in too much of the lab things. Anyhow, let's see what's the story this week.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. I just remembering the first time that on occasion I have an emotional response to death. It's
Gotta be kind of tough for a doctor.
at times it can be. At least I'm not a pathologist.
Just to be clear, it's not all pathologists would see dead bodies. I think in this scene, Mel is specifically referring to the ones working as a medical examiner.
What else went well?
We checked for reversible causes of cardiac arrest on ultrasound.
Okay, good. Does anybody have anything that they wish had gone differently?
In the hall, he should have been on a cardiac monitor. We would have caught the arrest right away.
That's true. But there was no indication for monitoring. And we now know that his abdominal pain was not from his gallstones, but from unstable angina due to coronary artery disease.
Then we should have admitted to cardiology.
We did an EKG, we did a troponin. He had a heart score of 3. Who can tell me what that means?
1% chance of an adverse cardiac event in the next 30 days.
Okay, here. If you are not working in a medical field, there's something over here. I think it could be potentially a little bit misleading. The troponin is only released after the cardiac muscle cells have an injury. It is not a pre-indicator. When they are saying the evaluation is good or the troponin is negative, it does not mean this patient is 100% while not having a cardiac muscle injury later on. So even you got a negative on that, it still need to be evaluated with a lot of other things. Like in this case, they also did the EKG and other stuff. So if you're a patient, keep this in mind. A negative troponin result is only meaning at that particular second when they draw your blood, you are very likely did not having any cardiac muscle injury. And that's all what it means. Your provider will still need to evaluate you with many other things together to give a conclusion. And if you are a new provider, did not know this before,
Come on, baby.
just a fun fact, if you're working in the lab, sometimes we also have trouble to find the correct size lab coat. If it's too big, you are risking knocking stuff over on the bench and get something spilled. If the lab coat is too small, obviously you will be having some trouble to moving freely around. Our lab coats do get changed on a weekly basis. At least that's how most people would be doing that, but some people might be changing that more often because over the time you're working in the lab, there are some splashes or something else could happen to it, and the lab coat is so disgusting.
So why are you sticking me again?
Came in an hour after the chest pain. If it's a heart attack, it can take more time for the heart damage to show up in the blood. Put your finger on that. Even with the normal EKG, that's why we repeat the test.
Wow, there are two things I really like about this thing. And of course, the first one is about the repeat testing of troponin. If you're not a medical professional, you probably don't know this. Troponin is released post a cardiac muscle injury, and it's not something you see immediately. What happened with the lab value is post the event, within 2 to 3 hours, you would start to see an obvious elevated value in your blood sample. And in between half day to 1 day, that's the time your troponin level will be at the peak level. And then during the following week, this level will slowly going down. And in some extreme cases, your troponin level will be actually elevated for up to 2 weeks. So if anybody mentioned they have some symptoms at some point, they will almost always repeat the troponin levels. And besides troponin, there are also many other lab tests need repeat testing. For example, your blood glucose, your blood gas, your lactic acid, or any lab values when you had a extreme or critical result. So yes, it is absolutely normal when you go into the hospital and they poke you second time or even third time. That's not a waste of resource. They are simply trying to confirm your status.
Okay, thank you.
I couldn't help but notice there's a misgendering error on your chart. I'm really sorry about that. I've gone ahead and fixed it here and on your insurance data file, but it shouldn't happen again.
Wow. Thank you. Truly, thank you both.
Yeah, of course. That was cool. Didn't think to check that. Good catch.
I think in the scene they got a transgender patient. I know there are a lot of arguments, political-wise or social value-wise, but from the lab perspective, I would say if you got a biological gender assigned to your patient chart, you might want to consider keep your birth assigned gender at least on your medical chart, because sometimes some lab testings could mean very different things if your gender is changed. Let me give you a simple example. If we see a positive or increased value of beta HCG in female, your suspicion is pregnancy, but in male, your suspicion turns into cancer. And that's very different. Yes, you can do a short communication with your provider to discuss about it, but I know I cannot tell you what to do, and I should not tell you what to do, but I do wish you want to evaluate the risk before you requesting a gender change on your medical chart. It does comes with risk. Alright, that's all we get for this Friday, and oh my goodness, a lot of things about the cardiacs. If you are not in a medical professional field, I hope you learned something new today, and this is Lab Rat Sherry. Have a good weekend. I'll be see you next week.